Hello to you, this is Edwin Dearborn with my special guest, Roark Gourley, and this is a really special edition of Caffeinated Content. We're talking about great business ideas over a hot cup of coffee. And Roark Gourley, if we're in Las Vegas, he is the man that did the two shoes at the Cosmopolitan, right?
Right.
So if you go to the Cosmopolitan and see the really big shoes, this is his art right here, Roark Gourley, the world famous artist.
Thank you.
Now, Roark's out here for a convention, and one of the things that we're talking about is how he, as an artist, is actually bringing art and business together because he's made his art very marketable. And you brought up some good things about how your art actually helps the brand themselves. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, well, the shoe's a great example because here's the new thing with a lot of the hospitality business, or any business, when they put something up, they call it an Instagram moment. They want to have something at the hotel or at the, wherever they're at, the business, where people come in and they go, oh, I gotta get my thing and shoot my Instagram picture.
Right.
And that's actually, they use that now when
Right.
you're talking to people.
Right.
I'm gonna get up here with that.
Yeah.
And they go, we want, like the shoe at the Cosmopolitan kind of started this. It became a situation where they were concerned about, are people going to interact with this? We thought 2 or 3 people a day would interact with it, and it's like 2 or 3 people a minute. They actually have a thing downstairs where they spray it and they redo it. They have a reverberation area for the shoe itself. But what happens is the icon becomes a part of the feel of the hotel. It's sort of like the Eiffel Tower in Paris.
Yep.
It's like it becomes a part of what it is. So when they see that, when you see the shoe at the Cosmo, then you think of the Cosmo.
Right. So the art has become inseparable from the brand.
Right.
And you bring up a very good point, which is that piece of art lends itself to social media, meaning it's Instagrammable. I love that.
Right.
So they have something that's Instagrammable, so everybody wants to take their photo, they're promoting it.
Right.
And Cosmopolitan is not only getting free promotion,
Huge.
right?
Right.
But they're also reinforcing the shoe brand as part of the Cosmopolitan.
Yeah.
And you as
And
an
they're
artist are
branding
getting
me as the artist.
That's right.
Yeah, the interesting thing, I go to a meeting and there'll be all these executive guys and they're going, who is this guy? And they go, he's the artist. Like I'm working on another project which is video. It's a huge video wall that I'm working on. That's why I'm here in Vegas today.
Right.
You go in there and they're going, you're the artist, okay, what do you do? And I go, well, have you been to the Cosmopolitan and seen the shoe there? And they go, you're the shoe guy? And
Yeah.
it's like, all of a sudden you realize you're branded by your own brand and,
Right.
and they're branded, and sort of like there's this cohesive thing between the two. It's like all of a sudden they're getting their promotion, you're getting your promotion, and then they're mixed together. So it's great. It's it perpetuates itself.
Exactly. So I think this is a key takeaway for artists, which is find some signature piece of art that can become part of the brand.
Right.
And the branding,
Right.
and in turn you build your brand and your worldwide recognition. I think the other thing is that one last point that I want to go over is I asked you, how do you find projects like that? And you actually go on the internet and look to architects and professionals that are creating these visions for hotels.
Right,
and
right.
So kind of take me through that
Yeah,
process.
well, it's been sort of the no-no of art, of like, going to hotels or it's always been art museums and so on and so on. The funny part is now the art museums have their Instagram moments. The art museums have their incredibleness, and actually it goes back and forth. And
Yep.
that's, it's sort of like there's a new paradigm of where art is at, because people start thinking, okay, well, it's only really art if it's, it's at the Guggenheim or whatever. But the funny part is the Guggenheim wants, the Jeff Koons giant balloon dog, because it is that, it brands them, it brands back and forth. And actually, even though that's sort of like, oh no, you can't do that. Actually, it's exactly what they've been doing for years, because those pieces are the kind of situation that creates that. So when you're promoting, you're actually talking to these places, which is great because businesses, they want, you know, who supports these museums, for example, are people who are buying.
No, it's wealthy people.
Yeah, well, and they have collections. You know, like huge corporations now have huge collections of works, and they have professionals who go out and buy these kinds of works.
Right.
And it's basically so they can have something that is recognizable and actually comes back to them. So if they're collecting, like a lot of people don't know Cy Twombly, but if Cy Twombly becomes a big deal, then all of a sudden they become a big deal. So it's this, what do you call it? Not cohesive, but you know, the interaction between the two. So what you're doing is you're going to the architects, you're going to the hotels or whatever they are, and they are asking you, this is where we're at, where are you at, and how can you fit into what we're doing? Right.
So now they're trying to use aesthetics and art as a way to build their brand and kind of make their hotel or their business unique. You come in and you're interfacing with them. And now what's exciting is you're using video and shooting video on the walls and using video in the rooms, and now we're going into a whole new level of art because of the audio-visual explosion and technology explosion. So now social media, technology, art, and business are all kind of coming together in this exciting mix that we've never really seen.
It's a new medium, and it's like you've got to stay unique within the medium. I mean, there's a ton of art on the internet. You can go buy stuff, and you know, there's just lots of ways to buy stuff. But when you actually start creating unique stuff, that's the hook also. So they have something that's very different, very exciting for them, and it's like people, when they see that, then they want to, you know, they want to go, oh, check this out. You know, they see this thing, and then, you know, then you're promoting each other and blah blah blah.
There you go.
Yeah. So it's a lot of working with them because a lot of them want to actually control, to a certain degree, the kind of look they have. So you have to be flexible in that.
Yeah.
You know, like with the project in San Diego, you know, they want beautiful underwater, gorgeous girls, but they don't want too much girl underwater. So it's sort of like, okay, let's work it out together where there's a flow. And that flow works for them, that flow works for you, and then the promotional thing just takes off.
That's right.
And then it flips from one place to another. And they've got whole sets of hotels and blah, blah, blah.
That's awesome. So the takeaway here for me is this: if you're trying to brand yourself as an artist, number one, you've got to come up with your own unique creativity.
Right.
Number two, you've got to reach out to the business world, the architects. You've got to start networking with people that are looking for the art and using art to help their brand.
Right.
And then number three, I think it's important that you interface with them in such a way to make the art marketable and brandable for them. And then once you get that signature piece of art, like your shoe or that big video screen, it starts to take a life of its own because you become associated with that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the real key. Once you can create that, then it perpetuates itself.
Awesome.
It's like promotes them, promotes you, and everybody's happy as pie.
This has been a really, really awesome edition of Caffeinated Content. I'm excited to have Roark, long-term friend, awesome artist. Thanks for guys tuning in. If you want to know how to connect with us and brand yourself as an artist and kind of get some inside tips, you should reach out to me. Roark and I talk all the time. We work together on some projects, and we'd love to help you as an artist, or if you know some artists, you should reach out to us. So this has been Edwin Dearborn and Roark Gourley on another edition of Caffeinated Content. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.